With BlizzCon security stronger than ever, more and more people now are doubting if the protesters will even show up.
On your left.
Assemble.
It's time, okay? It's time that the time where we get the best memes, the biggest, most ridiculous things happen for the year. Like last year, BlizzCon 2018 was our biggest moment, and we are excited for it. And we thought, booyah, time to recap.
Well, actually not really cap, Sam. We're really talking about what to expect. We're kind of doing it backwards.
I mean, yes. Anyway, guys, back to the very intense music. We can't wait for what's going to happen in the next couple coming days. But until then, let's tell you what we think's going to happen. Leaks, protests and all. Let's get to it.
The winner of the overall cosplay competition, the winner is Kelton Ching, the creator!
So, BlizzCon is the annual convention held by Blizzard, talking exclusively about their titles. It's a pretty big deal that a publisher has a convention devoted just to their suite of games.
Oh, I mean, a lot of people are doing it these days.
I know, sure, but let's say that Blizzard has a pretty massive portfolio.
Of course.
It's pretty impressive, the kind of fan base they've built, and to have literally thousands of people rocking up for 2 days long to be able to appreciate their games.
Yeah,
we've got to give them props for that.
Totally.
They've done a good job over the last 30 years to get to this point where that exists.
I definitely think it's also pretty impressive how within a 12-month period they've completely destroyed that, and 95% of the people now hate Blizzard. So I think that's also pretty impressive.
I just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's?
There's obviously been many steps in the road to Blizzard being less than loved these days. The most recent one, though, obviously involves Blitzchung, the Hearthstone player who spoke out in support of Hong Kong after winning a tournament.
Yep.
The casters let him do it. He did it. Blizzard were like, uh-oh, what do we do? Ruh-roh. China dollars. And so they just came down on him like a Chinese tank. It's dark, man.
Yeah.
It's dark.
In what square?
Backlash was absolutely huge, leading literally to members of Congress writing Blizzard letters to sort of say, don't do this. Thousands of people boycotting. I saw this really funny post on Reddit the other day that was like, hey guys, I deleted my Overwatch account because I was so mad at Blizzard, but now I really want to get the new Halloween skins. Can someone tell me how to restore my Blizzard account? It's like, way to go, man.
I feel your pain.
So obviously, huge backlash, but everyone was really looking at BlizzCon as the chance for one, a continuation of all this drama, and two, seeing if Blizzard could actually pick up the pieces and move on.
I do think this has to be the biggest BlizzCon we've ever seen. I mean, look, it's one thing to be excited about certain titles and people want Blizzard to bring a big game there. It's another thing to try and rebuild your image, you know, and that's what they're going to be doing here. I think we're going to see some titles. Most of them, I think that, they have been leaked now. I think most of them, we'll get to that later, but this has to be the mother of all BlizzCons if they actually want people to start forgetting what's happened in the last 3 weeks. And the last, year, really, because the whole Diablo Immortal thing.
April Fool's.
This drama has actually hit Blizzard specifically in their bottom line. It was revealed recently that Mitsubishi dropped Blizzard as one of the organizations they sponsor. This is as a direct result of the Hearthstone blitzchung thing, and obviously any lost sponsors is going to hit a company right where it hurts.
All we need to do is get your confidence back. so you can make me more money. Patties.
That's number one. Two, obviously, you had the huge backlash and boycott of fans. They would have no doubt lost a few thousand people. I doubt it's many more than that. I doubt literally any more than 30 or 40,000 people have, deleted their Blizzard accounts.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's an internet thing. It gets retweeted on Twitter and whatnot, but like, how many people actually did it?
They were like, retweet, I did my job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This moment will be the moment of something real and fun and inspiring in this God-forsaken business, and we will do it together. Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me?
Now, on top of that, the Los Angeles Times has now come out with a little bit of a piece saying that the staff at Blizzard now are maybe dreading BlizzCon. Now, this is what they said. The staff who compared BlizzCon to Christmas said, the prospect of protests have poisoned anticipation for this year's event. A lot of people that would have been happy and excited are now feeling dread that something's going to happen, he said. You don't know if it's going to be people chanting outside. You don't know if it's going to be something on stage. You don't know if it's going to be something dangerous that might actually hurt people. So, I mean, it's interesting to see that it's not probably just the Blizzard execs that want to make sure that BlizzCon's going to go smoothly. You know, Blizzard employees are also very nervous about how this is going to go.
Well, I mean, which makes sense, obviously. First of all, the whole point about hurting people, like, obviously wouldn't want that in any circumstance ever. I know that BlizzCon's security is actually very tight, because I remember reading about that last year, where they really beefed up their security big time. So obviously, hopefully, nothing terrible goes down in terms of anyone's safety.
Sure.
But in terms of protests, though, we can be guaranteed that there are going to be protests happening there, because recently the protest organizer said, yes, we are going full steam ahead. Speaking recently to GameStop, protest organizer Dayton Young said that Blizzard's decision to reduce the punishment handed out to Hearthstone player blitzchung over his public support of the Hong Kong protest is a small step in the right direction. Young says, however, that silencing gamers who speak up about issues that affect their freedom makes us all less safe from oppression and institutional abuse. Gamers rise up.
Gamers rise up,
but
people.
not ironically this time.
I mean, I wonder if it's actually going to be, as we said before, is this going to be like the Naruto run, 4 people doing it outside like Area 51? Is that what we're going to see? Or are we going to actually see, 1,000 people outside BlizzCon?
I do not think we'll see 1,000 people. I think we'll see
maybe 50.
I reckon we'll see between 50 and 200 people.
And look at all the media outlets, make sure they all huddle together.
That's right.
And then bring the camera really in, it's like, that's how many people were there. There was a lot of people.
That photo was real, Sam.
That photo was real, everybody.
One question mark that exists is how Blizzard are going to be handling Q&As at the event. In the past, people have just been able to stand up without any real pre-screening and grab a mic and start talking. I don't know if that's going to be the case this year. There is the option to submit questions early, which is the standard feature. They've always had that at BlizzCon, but it's unclear whether or not Blizzard will somehow lock down people's ability to ask questions. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, look, what they should do, right? If I was like a sleazy corporation, I would film a little video of them asking their question, and then play it on the screen 10 seconds later, so you could you know what I mean? They have the 10-second delay.
The whole radio thing they do.
Correct. You know what I mean? That would make sense. If I was a sleazy corporation, that's how I'd do it.
Yeah, it'd be actually impossible though, because you're live streaming. You're live streaming, so I think it is.
Just be able to record it, and then the point is, I'm sure they're going to come up with something to stop this from happening, because it's very high risk for them, and I'm sure lots of people would love to stand up and just yell free Hong Kong, free Hong Kong, free Hong Kong for 10 minutes.
I don't think that we're going to see that. I really don't think we're going to see any Q&A panel. Look, last year, with the red shirt guy that got up, he apparently was going to told the Blizzard employee that he was going to ask another question. Then he got up and said, "Is this another April Fool's joke?" Right? Now, I don't think we're going to get that at all. I mean, their main thing right now is to make sure that this stays out of the headlines for the wrong reasons. If they can just deliver all their information just like a Nintendo Direct, and then just get all the focus on the actual games, I reckon that's what they're going to do.
They were definitely not going to not have Q&A, Sam. There was no way they're going to allow the headline Blizzard silences community
I
attendees.
understand that, but the thing is, if they never just even mention any Q&A moments, I mean, you know what I mean?
How could you not mention Q&A moments? It's the biggest feature of the entire event.
I mean, maybe. What I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen, that, they probably just want to try and keep that to the bare minimum, if not, nothing at all. And if I was a giant corporation, I could be like, well, actually, let's just focus on all the games, and the Q&A thing can just silently never be mentioned, and maybe that will not be a thing. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if Q&A will be a thing.
It will definitely be a thing.
Well, we're gonna find out tomorrow, Ralph. Okay, if it is.
So that's all the background to this, and this really leads into what can we actually expect to see announced at BlizzCon, and what's leaked so far. There's quite a bit that we've already heard. So I guess some of the less juicy stuff first. We know that Warcraft 3 Reforged is coming.
Yeah,
we've seen some screenshots. That's been coming forever. I'm actually hearing that it's coming pretty soon. I remember reading a headline recently that it should be out in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
So that's sooner rather than later. Look, it's cool. It's nice that it exists. You know, I loved Warcraft 3 back in the day. I don't really have a strong urge to play it now. I'm not a huge RTS dude.
RTS now for me is kind of just not my thing right now.
Yeah.
Like, it was cool back in the day, but I wonder how well it will sell. I think the nostalgia train will definitely sell a lot of those units. But I don't know if it's going to have a thriving community in a year or two. But look, I saw some leaked footage about a month ago showing what it looks like, but it could have been just some mod. I don't know if it's actually true. The main point there is we actually haven't seen anything. We haven't really seen any gameplay on this thing apart from when they really showed it last year. So I actually don't know if we will see this quite soon.
Sam was actually watching a clip of Age of Empires.
Yeah, I'm just like,
this
whoa, that's weird. I mean,
really
why are they planting grass and farming and shit? That's very strange.
The other, I guess, less juicy item is a new WoW expansion. We can expect one of those every 2 years. The number's up. The rumor, though, is that it's going to be Shadowlands and feature Bolvar Lich as the main antagonist. There is a screenshot that was leaked on through their store where it was actually really clever because someone actually kind of switched one word for another and then it resulted in this screenshot popping up.
Interesting.
It's never been seen before. So everyone's kind of thinking that that would make a lot of sense. There's a lot of lore to sort of plumb there and what have you. Very make or break expansion for World of Warcraft, given that it's having its ass completely kicked at the moment by Final Fantasy, by WoW Classic. No one has a kind word to say about Battle for Azeroth. It is a terrible expansion of World of Warcraft, and they really need to make sure this one lands properly.
I reckon they have 2 or 3 expansions left in them until people are like, yeah, this is dead. You know, like, it's gigantic still. Don't get me wrong, but what I mean is there are so many other MMOs coming out now that are like really giving them a run for their money, you know, and if they continue to have bad expansions like Battle for Azeroth, I mean, how many more do they have, you know?
Don't know. We make quite a few bad episodes and we're still around.
Well, that's true.
That's
true, everybody.
Next up is Overwatch 2.
Or
now,
2.0. We're not too sure what it is.
Okay, so here's the thing. We know that there's another Overwatch release coming. We don't know if it's a sequel that you will pay $60 for, or if it's an expansion kind of like 2.0 thing where you might pay $30 for it. It's unclear if your cosmetics carry over from the previous game to the next, but we do know that it has a PvE element to it. We don't exactly know what that's going to be yet.
Yeah.
We've already seen screenshots of like character talents.
Tracer showing that she's going to have certain abilities and how they can be leveled up. She was already level 10 there, so I don't actually know what that whole thing looks like, but it does sound like the abilities are going to be only on the PvP side. I think it is going to be a large emphasis now on PvE. Of course, we're also going to have PvP, of course, but this new expansion or new game or whatever it is, I mean, they've already got PvP, so this new thing, whatever it is, I believe it will be all about what they're doing with the PvE.
Yeah, I hope so, because if you're going to charge me for something and it's like just an upgrade to Overwatch, I'm going to be like, fuck off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that would be ridiculous. But I wouldn't put it past it. This is Activision we're talking about here. Let's not forget that. A company that sells you basically the same game every year with Call of Duty. Like, that's what they do. They run their franchises into the ground. And so, if they saw a chance to do this with Overwatch, I reckon they'd take it.
Call of Duty was the highest selling one in this generation.
Absolutely. They love it. Yeah, but that's the exception.
That's a different...
Don't forget, like, Skylanders and Guitar Hero, Tony Hawk, like, all these other Activision licenses, they just ran into the ground. And, I'm sure that the higher-ups at Activision would love to do that to Blizzard IP as well at some point. Let's hope it doesn't happen with Overwatch, because it's a good IP. It's worth protecting. Sure. Our world is worth fighting for.
Yes. Is it though?
Is it though?
Is it?
So the next one up is a D2 remaster, Diablo 2. I am excited for this, actually, because it would be nice to be able to play a good functional version of Diablo 2. Still a fantastic game.
Well, D2 was originally functional. What are you talking about?
I mean, you can't play it now is my point.
Oh.
You can't play it now.
Well, you can.
I mean, with some serious work, you can get a copy working, but it's tough. Getting a remaster would be nice, and making it easy and playable, and playing with other people, like having a thriving community of people on that game would be great, and it would absolutely have a huge community. Just the same way that WoW Classic, just like people flock to it, it'll be the same with Diablo 2.
Yeah, it'd be great to bring that back. It looks like it's the year of remasters with Reforged and D2, and
it's the generation of remasters.
Yeah, I think that if it actually does do well, I mean, I hope that they do more things. Oh, but they also did StarCraft remasters last year too, so they're definitely going down that route, and they're seeing a lot of success with that. So D2 remaster though, like if it's done right, I mean, it could easily like compete with D4, you know, which brings us really to our next part.
It does.
Diablo 4, apparently it's coming. There's a few like leaks here and there as to what it will look like.
There was one that was doing the rounds this week, which is fake as fuck, basically.
Yeah.
It was basically like
Jason
Diablo.
Schreier said it's fake, so it must be fake.
They were like, Diablo is a first-person fantasy shooter. It's like, no, it's not. Jason Schreier confirmed himself that this is fake, so look, I'm inclined to believe him. It also just doesn't make sense that they're going to make a first-person fantasy shooter out of Diablo. Like, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. I think that's not going to happen.
No.
But either way, Diablo 4 is on the way, and we don't exactly know what the release date is or what it's going to look
I reckon
like.
it's going to be at least a year old. We haven't even
at
seen
least
a
a year.
single clip yet.
I reckon like 2 years, realistically.
Maybe, yeah.
But
they've had to reboot it so many times. I mean, they're probably doing this now like out of sheer necessity. they're not even sure if this is actually correct. But who knows?
But the thing is, it really is important for this to just land perfectly, because if they put out a new Diablo 4 announcement and it flops, that's a body blow to Blizzard. That's their BlizzCon, like
that is
ice,
the BlizzCon.
You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah.
So unless they can get this right, they're really going to struggle to get momentum across the rest of their studio.
Yeah.
Because everyone's just going to be dogpiling on.
I guess the other question mark is what's happening with Diablo Immortal. We haven't heard anything about it. There's been nothing since the initial like meme like showing of it. I just don't know if they're even going to spend any time on it.
I reckon they will just say,
But they
guys,
have
it's
to.
playable right now. I reckon that's what they do.
That's probably right.
That's what they do with mobile games.
Yeah. So I wonder what they'll do with that, because they cannot spend a lot of time on that. It has to be about D2 remastered, D4, Overwatch, all that kind of stuff, not mobile games. But we'll have to see. But all in all, like it could be a pretty big showing if they do it right.
It's a huge show. Like, there's so much stuff on the way. It's just a question of, will it be good? And also, how much will the drama derail the proceedings? You know, because a lot of people are there just to focus on the games because they're huge Blizzard stans. But a lot of people are there because they're pissed off and they really want to make a point that, like, no Blizzard.
Yeah, a lot of people just want to make sure they get their 15 seconds on camera and be like, you know, I'm wearing the red shirt, everybody, and I want to ask you this question, Blizzard. Yeah. So that's going to be a thing.
For sure. Either way, guys, we are going to have Laymen Live tomorrow, where we're probably only going to be able to cover a small amount of what's going on because it's still happening while we're on Laymen Live. And we can't watch it live because it's all like protected by their BlizzCon pass thing, whatever. And then we are going to do a video on Sunday surmising all the news and whatever. So look forward to that. It's going to be a huge weekend. Lots of drama, lots of announcements.
Looking forward to it.
Stay tuned to the Laymen. Hit the like and subscribe button and the notifications. That's it.
BlizzCon out.